Hey, what's up guys? Eric with www.paravinum.com. That's paravinum, Latin for prepare the wine. www.paravinum.com. Go to the website, check us out. Today's show is going to be a little schizophrenic. It's going to be all over the place. So if you could take one thing from today's show, it's take this. Try something new. Try a different grape from a different region every time you go to the wine shop. That's the point. We're not made of money, and so I know that can be tricky, and people are like, well, I don't want to just gamble on buying something new, because what if I don't like it? Then I just lost $15. And I understand that. It would be like going to the dog track and just throwing a bet willy-nilly, because you're probably going to lose if you do that. And so wine is the same way. You don't want to just go to the wine shop and just willy-nilly throw your money out there and hope that you got a good bottle of wine. So today's show is how to get the best bottle of wine for the amount of money that you want to spend, and take that gamble and really be able to try new wines without having to worry about the gamble. There's always going to be a little bit of a gamble just because wine is so subjective. Some people will have a different opinion, but this is going to be a better shot than just going willy-nilly. So I'm going to try not to nerd out on you today. I'm going to try to break it down Big Bird to Cookie Monster style, and try to run through this as painless as possible without being super nerdy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tackle these wines. How I got these wines today is I went to Bottle Mix off of Creedmoor Road, and their wine associate there, Jack Hicks, awesome guy. Told him what I wanted, told him to pick me out 3 bottles of wine, and basically what I said was just the premise of the show, and that's what he did. And so he picked out these 3 bottles of wine, and I mean, it could not be any more schizophrenic than this. But I know they're going to be good. So rule number 1, if you're going to buy wine, if you're going to go take that gamble, go to your local wine shop and just tell the wine associate what you want. And you don't have to like get all sommelier with it. Okay, if you're in the mood for something raspberry and strawberry, tell them that. If you want something that's, coffee, cocoa, leathery, whatever, tell them that. If you want something grapefruit, fine. Apple, fine. Let's not say like I want a dry red or a dry white. That's boring and it doesn't really give him much to go on. So you gotta tell them what you're in the mood for. And they're always gonna put you on something good because they want you to come back to that wine shop. So that's the easiest way not to get, boned when you're buying wine. So Jack Hicks from Bottle Mix on Creedmoor Road in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's take a run through these wines. I haven't had these wines before, but I'm already excited on his lineup. And this is cool too because he kind of threw a wing dinger in there, something that I wouldn't even have picked. And so that's kind of cool too when you just tell a wine associate to pick you something. You never know what you're going to get. So without further ado, let's get down to business. The first bottle of wine we have today is Barista 2012 Pinotage from South Africa. And that's, I'm already excited for this wine because barista, as you know, means like someone that pours coffee or that makes coffee and blends coffee. There is no coffee added to wine. All the taste that you get from these wines, all the taste characteristics actually come from the grapes themselves and the terroir and how they were grown. That's where you're getting all these tastes. So they didn't just add coffee. It's made of Pinotage, the grape Pinotage. It's a clone from Pinot Noir and Cinsault from France. It's a really fickle, hard grape to grow. It grows in South Africa. It does really well in South Africa and not much other place else. Had some problems with some diseases in the 80s and 90s for the vines dying, but in the 2000s they got their kickback, and now they're really starting to settle in and really starting to make some really good wines, very vibrant and lush wines, good for the money. These guys are producing killer juice in that $10 to $20 price range. So Barista, well, let's, out of all 3 of these wines, I can smell this one the most. And I can already smell, it smells like Starbucks. It really does smell. It smells like, like little pastries at Starbucks when you walk in. You smell the coffee, you smell the pastries, and that's what this smells like, a blend of pastries and coffee. I mean, you'd have to smell it to believe me, but trust me, that is something that you can familiarize yourself with. When you smell this wine, you're going to say, oh yeah, that's exactly what it smells like. The color of this wine is just a light ruby. It's not as light as like a typical Pinot Noir would be. It's a little bit darker than that, but it's still that light ruby red color. This wine's actually a lot more complex than I thought it was going to be. Because the smell is so much like coffee, I thought it was just going to taste like coffee, but it really doesn't. It's that real plum, raisiny, like elderberry taste. And now on the finish, I'm really getting the coffee. I'm really getting the strong coffee taste. But right up front, it's medium bodied, but it's hanging on there, medium bodied. If you want to know what complex means, This might be a good starter wine to try to see that, because it does have some layers to it. It has that you can, it's something we can relate to. A lot of us drink coffee, so there's a lot of taste in here. Mocha, that's really what I'm thinking right now. Almost on the finish, you got that vanilla whipped cream on the finish, but it tastes like that chocolate mocha coffee taste. Really fun, really good wine. And again, South Africa is they're just making some really good juice right now. For bang for your buck, South Africa, you can't really go wrong there. I would say that though, that wine is vibrant. It's alive, a lot going on, a lot to think about. Okay, so this is where he kind of threw me a wing dinger, because we're going from South Africa, now we're going to Rhone, France. This is actually from Côte de Rhone Village, which is in southern Rhone, and this is from the village of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. A lot of Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines, actually some of them have been blessed by the Pope. It's the only wine in the world to have been blessed by the Pope. Those ones will actually have like a raised seal on the bottle. They start around $30 and they go into the hundreds. This one has not been blessed by the Pope. It doesn't meet those same, the same rules and regulations that particular wine follows. Try not to nerd out here. But this wine in particular, is from Southern Rhone. They're always going to be Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Cinsault blends. So they're going to vary in percent of each grape, but for the most part, you're getting Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and Cinsault out of these wines. Ooh. Okay, I told you it was going to be a schizophrenic show, and I'm not lying. I knew it was going to be. When I saw this lineup, I knew it was going to be schizophrenic, because this is completely opposite smell of that wine. This wine, you could definitely tell. This is kind of lacking on the nose. I'm getting a lot of like earthy, dusty, like green pepper, like wet socks. Like wet socks, like not like stinky socks, but like just wet socks, like if you were to go tromping around in the pond. Let's give it a taste. Oh, completely opposite of this wine, but very nice, very gentle wine compared to this one. This one was big, vibrant, lush, wham, bam. This one is mellow, it's calm, it's nice, it's smooth. And not smooth, but the tannins are a little bit more ripe, more like green apple. This would be like eating one of the like a fresh red apple that's soft, and this would be like a hard green apple that's not completely ripe. That's kind of the difference I'm talking here, just completely opposite, but the same fruit. And this is just the tannins sucking the moisture out of my mouth. You really have that grimy, limestoney, gravelly kind of taste. It's not really earthy and dusty. It's just more like rocky and minerally. Definitely, I would probably pair this with a lot of different foods. Really good, but completely opposite of South Africa, but just really good and elegant. If you're actually trying to just get into wines and you want to try something old world versus new world, classic example right here. This is New World. New World being Africa, Australia, Chile, Argentina, America, Oregon, Washington. Those are all New World wines. Old World wines is like your old Europe wines, old Western European wines that are made in that traditional style where they pair with food. This would be a classic example without getting burned. These are two fantastic wines. They're both going to be really enjoyable to drink, but completely opposite of each other. Really good though. Really fun wine. Okay, so this next one, now we're going to Cabernet Sauvignon from Seven Falls, Washington Slope, Washington. Now, this has come from the Wakula Slopes. The Wakula Slope is this massive flood that came through from like Montana, and it built up this huge mound that also got slammed by a volcano years ago, and it's this 1,000-foot mound that spreads for like 30 miles, and it blocks all the wind and rain coming off the ocean. It's like a temperature changing a zone, and it keeps all the wines east of that slope dusty. It's beach sand, and the roots have to struggle for water, really hard to get water there. They're actually having like irrigation battles out there, but the climate looks like Mars. It's like a dusty, wind-blown, rocky, it's crazy. Again, schizophrenic show. We've even got schizophrenic wines here. Oh, completely different. Creme brulee. I mean, it smells like creme brulee. Just strong, sharp, like caramel. If this wine tastes anything like it smells, it's going to be just, I mean, That's very elegant. Very nice wine. Very, very luscious, very smooth, vanilla-y. subtle tannin, soft, just an elegant wine. If I could explain these wines to you right now, it would be crazy. If it was like we could knock it down skateboarding, this would be like super mega ramp, and this would be like Bucky Lasek and Tony Hawk on the half pipe, where they're just doing those like crazy 900 twists that are just really look awesome in the air, and they look elegant, kind of like Shaun White on the half pipe snowboarding, just kind of, you know, twirling, looking elegant and pretty, but it's still gnarly. And this would just be like balls out, you know, mega ramp, you know, jumping, you know, 1,000 feet, however that is. And this guy right here would be like the longboarder, like the speed skier. What a fantastic group of wines, really fun, and I didn't get burned on a single one. I don't feel like either one, all three of these, I don't feel like I got burned at all. I think that these are all three really fun wines, really fantastic wines, wines that I'm excited to finish off tonight. And speaking of which, I've got 3 bottles of wine that I got to finish tonight, so I'm gonna have to say goodbye. Guys, go out to your local wine shop, start drinking new grapes from new regions, start trying different stuff, enhance that palate. Start enjoying things. Don't just drink Coca-Cola. Here in America, we tend to be, and this is my last little rant, we tend to be grapist, as my wife calls it, racist grape haters, where they judge a grape by the color of its skin. Okay, don't be that guy. Don't be a grapist. Go out and seek all sorts of new wines, seek other types of grapes, and don't be afraid to try new things. All right, guys. Check out our wines of the week, check out our desserts and our recipes online, www.paravinum.com. Like us on Facebook, share our videos, join us on YouTube, subscribe to our videos. We're here every week trying new stuff. We're here for you. We don't make any money from this. It's just fun wine education and to get you guys out to your local wine shops and drinking fun juice. All right, Eric with www.paravinum.com. Cheers.